you'll hear men say that we just want women to listen. Now,
my favorite.
Yep. Now, how that comes across is, again, this is going to be something else. And so when a healthy man says, hey, listen to me, right? It's not do as I say, command you to do this or any of those things. No, it's more so hear me, right? When I open my mouth and I'm trying to explain my point of view, or, let's say you're doing something, I say, hey, babe, I think I have a better way of doing this, hear me out, right?
What does hearing you out sound like on her end or look like on her end? How do you feel like you were heard?
Yeah. So it being consideration, right?
Well, what does that, I'm saying, right. That's what I'm asking. What does she do or what does she say that makes you feel heard?
Sometimes it's affirming. Sometimes it's just, oh, okay, I never thought of it that way before. Or I'm probably going to try that next time. Even if, again, it's not lying, because in other words, just to answer your question, how it looks is like, hey, babe, when you leave all the lights on inside, it basically makes the electricity go a lot higher. So I'd appreciate if if you're not using a light in a room, just turn it off so we can kind of have our lower electric bill, so we can add however many dollars it is towards our savings, right? And sometimes we'll be like, they'll take it one. If you say it that way, I don't see how a woman could take it in a bad way. But the idea there would be like, oh, okay, babe, I got you. I'll make sure I remember that next time or something like that, right? So,
I think part of the issue, there's two things. I think number one, when men say things like, listen to me, how it comes across is like, he's talking, she's sitting there silently and smiling. And then when he's completely done talking, then she goes, whatever you say, your highness. And that's it. That's how it comes. It can come across that way as number one. Yeah. But that's just how the listen to me comes across. It doesn't come across like two adults that are equals having a conversation with each other. It comes across like you sit there, you shut your mouth, you smile so that I don't feel uncomfortable. And when I'm done, you say, wow, babe, that was amazing. Whatever you say, babe, always, babe. Okay, babe, wonderful, babe. Even if she disagrees, that's how it can come across to women.
And as much as I hear that, for sure, and I receive that.
Yeah.
And welcome to the Couples Development Podcast. I am your co-host, Coach Clark, and I am here with my wife,
Coach Mel, and we are a husband and wife team of relationship coaches. So what do you want to talk about today, husband?
All right. I would like to discuss the three most popular things that men, for the most part, claim that they want from a woman.
Okay.
Because that's a question a lot of women ask. What do men want, right? Because, we're not good communicators or whatever, we don't share our feelings and so on and so forth, right? So I'll list them three and then we can kind of break them down and discuss them. So the first one is going to be a controversial one. Men want women to listen to them. We'll break that down. Men also want to feel desired and wanted by their significant, by their woman.
Okay.
Right? And number three, men want you to be their peace or bring them peace, right? So those would be the three things. We're going to break them down. I'm going to get a lot of hate comments from women. It's okay. Thankfully, I'm taken and I'm good. So, and that's it. So number one is going to be the special word, listen. And what men, healthy men, non-toxic men, what we mean by that is not take our instructions, sit up straight like the principal just walked in the room and say, yes, sir. We mean, hear our point of view, consider our point of view, take interest in it, maybe ask us a few questions because you're curious to know more. And that'll definitely make us feel heard and listened to. And a lot of women complain about, men aren't, they don't want to be vulnerable and share their feelings. Doing that and practicing that as often as you can will make them feel like, oh, you're a comfortable, you're a safe place where I can actually share my feelings or my thoughts with, because it doesn't mean you're going to agree with me, but you're definitely going to take it under consideration as opposed to just immediately play ping pong and hit it back to me.
Okay. Can I ask a clarifying question here about what you mean by ping pong, just so that women can better understand what men mean when they talk about, like, it feels like a ping pong match?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a clap back, or so it's like, hey babe, I don't know. Hey babe, I don't know if you noticed, but the gas tank is on E, and there's no gas in the car. So if next time, if you can, just let me know. I don't mind putting the gas, just to let me know, so make sure that the gas tank isn't on E or anything like that. It's like, well, it's supposed to be your responsibility to da-da-da-da-da, or, well, you should have checked it, or basically anything other than, all right, my bad. Like, I don't know how many times men hear, all right, my bad, babe. I'll do that next time. It's kind of like something as simple like that is, yeah, she listened to me. It's not, you better put gas in the car next time. Yes, sir. No, that's not what we're saying. Does that make sense?
Okay. Can I ask a second clarifying question?
Ask as many as you need.
Is it accurate to say that by listen, men really mean understand, that they want to feel understood, but they use the word listen? Is it fair to say that?
100%.
Okay.
Like, because the action of listening, your ears are open and you can hear things, but if you're not understanding what I'm saying, what's the value of it? So 100% understand. Yeah.
So is it fair to say that by listen, he means 1, understand, 2, show interest by asking, questions to show that you're interested, 3, validate his experience? Is it fair to say that? Yeah.
100%.
Okay. I get that. I will say though that when women hear men say listen, it sounds more so like shut your mouth, don't say anything, smile, nod your head, and then when he's done, take a bow and say, whatever you say, Your Highness. That's how it can very much so come across to women.
That sounds
just so you know.
That sounds kind of fire.
Yeah. No.
Let's do that.
No.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. Again, toxic ones, right? Definitely are gonna think that, but no, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's, hey, we're not horrible people. We mean well, just like you mean well. Hey, just give what I said some consideration. Like, did you even take 10 seconds to actually process what I just told you? Or I was in the middle of talking, are you just ready for your rebuttal?
Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes that's what men, and that's another thing. It's all grouped in.
Yeah.
Here's another big word women can't hear: combative. Right. That's what we refer to as combative. It's not the fact that you don't agree. It's just like, it feels like if we say it's raining outside. Well, it's not raining that hard. It's like it almost feels like there's always something that there's a battle about. It's like, I was just telling you it's raining outside.
Okay.
Yeah, well, get an umbrella. It's like, okay, like, chill, relax.
Yeah.
Don't relax. Bad word, can't say relax, right? Like that. If that makes sense. So that's what it is. It's not do what I say when I say it, command, blah, blah, blah. It's and the crazy thing is, it's unfair, but a woman who's good at what she does and knows how to handle a man in a certain way will use her feminine power to just basically disarm him so quickly and be more agreeable with him. Not argumentative, right? She could be assertive, right? But it's like just coming on with that strong energy and everything else. It's like, we're attracted to feminine energy.
No,
so it's
women understand that. It's just that sometimes what feels like a strong energy to men does not feel like a strong energy to other women. So do you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it's just, we just don't know. You understand what I'm saying?
I was in a chat room yesterday, and one of the guys in there said something that I was like, interesting. He goes and says, there's a lot of stories by single mothers. Could it be that the pressure or the constant, berating that our mothers gave us, removed our autonomy, removed our ability to share our feelings and everything else? And now that we're adults, we already went through that. So any woman who talks back or whatever is seen as disrespectful or challenging or combative and everything else. And we don't want to deal with any more headaches like that anymore. Could that be, could that be a reason for such sensitivity to it? And
I think it could be, but there's so much that's interesting about that, because if a male child obviously is naturally wired to feel emasculated even by his mother, there's something really interesting about that, because in that dynamic, the mother's supposed to be the authority figure. There's supposed to be that hierarchy in that dynamic. So if he does, even as a child, internalize that, ooh, I don't like how that feels, so much so that when he becomes an adult, he no longer wants to experience that. There's something very interesting about that to me.
I agree, but I think it comes from a space of, I'm gonna give you something to cry about, or I'm your mother, you don't talk back to me, or things like, again, it's not about talking back, but sometimes kids have questions and kids want to understand things. And in our community, it's like, we don't do that. It's like it's almost like you don't exist. You are your parents' child, and your job is to do as they say. So you literally don't have any sort of control or autonomy over yourself. Right now, again, obviously, it's a parent's job to care for kids and blah, blah, they know better, but to an extreme extent, it can be bad. And so I think what it is that once we're out of that situation, we're not going to let nobody tell us what to do anymore. And it's not going to be you. All right. I have a boss that tells me what to do if you don't work for yourself. I have the government tells me to pay taxes. These cops tell me to follow these rules for speeding and everything else. And my mother, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to tell me what to do. And it they come into the relationship, sometimes the fellas do, with this heavy energy of everything she does is a combative thing.
But I think what's interesting about that is that what it sounds like to me is that man requires grieving work through therapy to recognize that his mother should have never spoken to him in that way, because as the adult, it was his mother's responsibility to treat him with kindness and to speak with him in a certain type of way, versus putting that responsibility on his adult partner. Because once he gets in a relationship with an adult woman, they are equals. It is no longer like this, right? So it sounds like there's a grieving process that a man like that is refusing to do, so much so that he's putting that responsibility on his partner to no longer make him feel how his mother made him feel. You understand what I'm saying? But I get it.
Yeah. It's I can't argue that. I think there's a lot in there for sure. So definitely that's part of it for sure.
Okay. So for listen, so what men are asking for is understand what I'm saying, be interested by asking questions into what I said, and validate what I said, my feelings and my experience. Right?
Do you know why I'm laughing? Yes. Yeah. You know why I'm laughing?
Yeah.
I know 100% in the comments that when they're going to see this, they're going to be like, so in other words, stroke his ego. Or, why do I have to baby a man?
Yeah.
Or, well, he needs therapy. And why leave me alone? Go get your therapy before. And again, all can be true at the same time.
Yeah, because it is really hard for women because we don't experience emasculation. So if you're talking to me, we can go if you want to go, but there isn't a point where I'm like, I feel smaller because of it. You understand what I'm saying? Because I see that we are two adults, we're equals, we're on the same level. So it's not that, it's just something that women can be ignorant to because we don't have that experience. So it's hard for us to understand where you guys are coming from because we just see two adults. That's all that we see.
And the funny thing is, what I find interesting is that, especially in our community, Black women who exhibit more masculine traits, assertiveness, boss bees, entrepreneurs, corporate ladder climbers, this, that, and the other, right? Which was traditionally dominated by men, right? That will be championed by other Black women, right? And on the other end, a woman who cooks and cleans and takes care and, is more, let's say has a job, but is more so a stay-at-home mom and caters to her man or so on and so forth, is going to be kind of sort of ostracized by more modern women. So in other words, some women can be on this side and be okay with society per se, and some women can be on this side and be okay with her man per se. The other way around, men, I will say Black men, right? There is a specific way that we think we're supposed to be. And it's never comfortable. So because of that, where I feel like we can sometimes overcompensate for things and try to, I'm a man, so you're gonna listen to me, you're not gonna talk back, and da 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 da. And so because, like I said, because we saw, I think every one of us, most of us were raised by female, had at least one female caregiver that raised us, right? Or helped raise us. So we see the example of what a woman looks like doing things in a home. The ones that don't, it's like I feel like they're searching for answers. And so again, they take all of the more toxic, I have to be swole, I have to have a big beard. That's not toxic, but whatever. I have to, all the stereotypes. I gotta, have money, and I gotta have a deep voice, and I have to, and the woman needs to, and it's like they take that and they bring it to the relationship. It's like, listen to me. And obviously that's not it. That's not what a healthy man does. And so anyway, so I'm saying all this because when women say the things like, oh, so I have to cater to his ego then, or I have to stroke his ego, or why doesn't he go to therapy? And he should have gone to therapy for me. All that is true. But the thing is, a lot of times we're ignorant to a lot of things because we don't know. But either way, whatever. I understand the point. But,
okay, so anyway. What's number 2? Yeah,
so number 2, right? You know what? I'll segue into this. Bring him peace. I love women love hearing that. What do men mean by be my peace or bring me peace, right? I don't, thankfully, I don't suffer from that. If anything, it might be the other way around, right? With us, right? I don't suffer from that with you. But from my understanding, it comes from a place where guys come home from work, so do women, but let's say guys come home from work and they just want to put the game on, they just want to relax, they just want to unwind, they just want to chill, and so on and so forth. And let's say a stereotypical woman who has more emotions and she was able to vent at work. She comes home or whatever it is, and then let's say she sees dishes in the sink, and then it starts with there. Why didn't you ever wash the dishes? And he's gonna be like, here we go. And it's like that's like what it mean like for them. It's like the peace thing, or let's say he wants to watch the game, and let's say she's emotional and wants to cuddle instead, right? And he's like and he's chilling. He's like, babe, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm just watching the game. Come, spend time with you and everything else. He's like, all right. And it got, and again, when they first got together, he probably doesn't care about the game that much. But as time goes on, he kind of wants to be more comfortable, right? And that's, I forgot the saying, but comfort is the killer of progress. I forgot what it was. Whatever. Anyway, so with that, there's a number of different ways that men, what men mean by that. Do I think it's be home, don't say a word, cook my meals, give me sex, leave me alone? I mean, they're gonna say yes, but no. At least for healthy relationship, I don't believe that's what they should mean. But they just, it's kind of like they don't want to deal with the arguing. They don't want to deal with the back and forth. They don't want to deal with why don't you this, or 2 weeks ago you did that, or the drama and everything. And I think that's what they're referring to.
Okay, so basically what men are saying is that when they get home from work, we'll just use the standard work week just for the sake of the conversation. So when they get home from work, basically Monday through Friday, he wants to get home, maybe have something to eat, watch the game, and without her complaining or venting or bringing up old problems or anything like that. And that's what they basically mean when they say bring him peace.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. And I can understand that, but I will tell you that what women hear is that women are not having a life experience. So it seems like men don't understand that women also are having a life experience. So when she goes to work and she's stressed out and she comes home, she's going to have certain things that she needs that also bring her peace. The difference is that what's going to bring her peace is going to be different than what brings him peace. What brings her peace might be spending time with him. What brings her peace might be hugging and cuddling. What brings her peace might be venting about her day. And that helps her to unwind. So it seems to me that both men and women are asking for the same thing. Both do want peace in their households, but the things that bring them peace just happen to be different things. And I think that's probably what's happening with a lot of people.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I also know, like, for example, what I've heard, because again, I don't deal with it, thank God. What I heard was, you spoiled me. What I heard was, for example, starting arguments out of nowhere. Let's say a guy is playing around and is like, you play too much. And he's like, I'm just joking. Nah, you joker. And then it kind of becomes something else. And then all of a sudden they're talking about, I don't know, the house being dirty and him not being considered about that. And then it becomes this whole other thing.
Yeah. So can I say something really quickly here? Sure. I agree with what you just said, that sometimes it can seem like women start arguments for no reason, but that's not really what's happening. Often it's because she doesn't know how else to get his attention. And sometimes she's starting the argument, not even from a conscious space. She's not sitting there thinking, what can I argue with him about right now? It's just that she's feeling something. She may not be aware of what she's feeling, and she may be desiring his partner's attention, but because she can't figure out how to get that, she might accidentally or unintentionally start an argument with him. So often it's just her saying, hey, babe, I'm here. Do you see me? Do you recognize that I exist? And,
I am here. I am alive.
Yes.
Hi. The woman you chased down, or you asked me out, remember?
Yeah.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So what is number 3? So far men asked for listen, peace, and what is the third thing that men ask for from their female partners in their relationships?
Real quick, what do women hear when they what do women hear when every time they hear men say peace?
What women hear is that she's not having a life experience of her own. She doesn't have her own stresses. She's just this thing that just exists in a box somewhere that he can pull out when he wants to have sex, and that's about it. Because if she's having a life experience outside of their household, when he says, oh, just bring me peace, it can come across very much so like you don't exist. And you don't matter, and you don't have needs. I have needs right now, and as a man, I'm protecting, I'm providing, and I need you to give me this thing. And she's like, well, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I had a bad day too. Like, can we talk? Can we, be there for each other? Can we, give each other a little emotional support? But for him, that emotional support feels like a lack of peace. So,
but I hear what I hear what you're saying, because you're not in a relationship just to bang each other and go your separate ways. There's friendship and that's also involved. So I would agree with that as well. So the third one I would say is a lot of things that and men need to speak up to. A lot of things that you hear women complain about is, oh, he doesn't take me out anymore. He doesn't romance me anymore. He's not affectionate as he used to be. He doesn't do the little things anymore, and so on and so forth, right? And those are valid, and men should do these things. And first, you do it by listening and understanding her and what she likes, right? And understanding her love languages and everything else. So men crave feeling desired and wanted by their significant other, whether it's a wife or a girlfriend or their love interest, whatever. That's something that I don't know what can make it. I don't know what, other than winning a sport per se, or winning a championship, whatever it is, can make a man feel more powerful and than that. Then it's like where a woman is like telling him how you are the only person that can make me feel this way.
Can I ask a clarifying question here? By him feeling desired, you mean physical intimacy? I just want to make sure I'm understanding that correctly.
I think if I had to guess the top 2 love language for men, I would say words of affirmation and physical intimacy, right? And honestly, it's in that order. Okay. I think a lot of men think it's supposed to be physical intimacy at first, but if your wife, if your wife was giving you sex every day, twice a day, but like what do men say when a lot of times they complain about is she's boring in bed, or she just lays there, or she's lazy. Well, typically that means that there's something that he's not receiving. You're still having sex, so what's the problem? Well, her authentic moans and her telling you how much she enjoys you, or her telling you, is what kind of like enhances that and like makes it feel like personal and intimate.
Okay, right? So I just want to make sure I'm understanding that. So when a man says that he wants to be desired by his partner, he's talking about giving him affirming words like, I appreciate you, I love when you da 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 da, and also the physical intimacy, which includes any type of physical touch and their sexual relationship. Did I understand that?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And like So and also interest in him and the things he likes, because, typically when people become friends with people or people, it's, I don't know how you can call someone your best friend if you don't have anything in common. You're like doing things with each other, right? So you take interest in, like, oh, I like this person as a friend, whatever. You take interest in the things that they do, not everything, but there's typically somewhere in that you connect there. It's like, oh, it's like, this woman thinks I'm cool. What happened?
I just thought about
Go ahead.
The problem, this is part of the issue, right? I hear men when they say they want their wife or their girlfriend to show interest in the things that he's interested in. And I do believe that they mean that. I genuinely think that men really do mean it when they say it. Part of the issue is something that I personally have experienced in our relationship, and I've heard other women also complain about, is that our way of showing interest, because I'm going to just talk about sports. I don't want to, I know it's a stereotype. I know it's a stereotype, right? But since we're talking about men, I'm going to just say sports is one of the interests, right? So something that I personally experienced is that when I try to show interest, it's going to come across from a very feminine way, because I'm not really that much into the game that you're watching, but there are going to be certain things that draw my attention. For example, when you used to watch the Dolphins, we used to watch a lot of like football. For me, the way that they dressed was funny to me. So I might make comments about like, why do they wear this? Why do they do that? Like, look how stupid he runs or something like that. But for you, you're like, I'm zoned into this game and you're just distracting me with all these comments, have nothing to do. You're not saying that to me, but your energy, your body language is showing that. And so I think a lot of women go through that same experience. For example, something that I've heard is that a lot of times when the man and the woman, when she tries to show interest in the sport, in the game, she'll be like, oh, what's his wife's name? What does his wife look like? And she's talking about the players while he's watching the game. And he's like, what is this? You asking about what his wife looks like? This has nothing to do with this game. So part of the issue is that when women try and show interest, when they're not sports fans themselves, it can come across as an annoyance to a lot of men. Like, what are these things that you're saying to me have nothing to do with the game? Like, go away. Like, you're annoying me. But that is her way, asking questions about the game, but that are not technically related to the game, is the way that she shows interest in what he's doing. So it can be a little bit hard for us.
And men have to understand, okay, well, do you want her to have interest or not? Because you get both things. You get to watch a game and you get her to show interest in everything. And maybe she might end up liking it if you make it a good experience. Which I did not. So it is what it is.
You got to make it a pleasant experience.
You have to make it a pleasant experience. So definitely to feel wanted. She wants to hang out with me. She wants to be affectionate with me. She says to me the things she likes about me and values in me and so on and so forth. It's like, you want it's just gonna sound bad, but you listen, there's a reason why in the Bible it says Adam was not meant to be alone. Man was not meant to be alone. And not only that, he specifically calls Eve Adam's helper. And God himself in the Bible calls himself man's helper as well. So you could put that however, 2 and 2, however you want to, right? So I don't know what it is, but the words from a woman that you love or desire or, want to be with, or your wife or whatever it is, that are encouraging, that are affirming, that are, the corny stuff. You mean the world to me. No other man in the world can make me feel like you do. Things like that can literally make men increase their salaries by like 10, 20% or something, like, if not more. But I don't know what it is. It literally feels like a man should be driven already as it is, but it can literally feel like a superpower you just got. Like, you know what I mean? It's like when Tupac said in one of the songs, revenge is like the sweetest joy next to having sex, pretty much, right? And so it's like, I don't know. It literally feels like, one, when you get the words, and it's like, babe, I'm proud of you, or babe, I appreciate how much you're taking care of us, or any of those things. Babe, what you did there was really thoughtful. I really appreciate that. Babe, that thing you did, or that cologne you have on, it makes me feel, whatever. It makes me horny, or it makes me throb, or makes things like that. is going to be like, damn, okay, cool. Like, again, you want, if I said this before, but it wasn't taken as well. If you want a man to do something, when he does the thing that you like him doing, implanting a memory that, like, almost like a reward system. I'm not saying sex, almost like a reward system that, yes, this is good. Like, oh my God, thank you. And you hug him, or you smile, or you give him, like, that is so good when you do that. I love when you do that, blah, blah, blah. Bro, like, that goes a long way for him. Like, for example, I'll give you an example, right? You know, you have a lot of weird things you tell me that kind of turn you on, right? But I'm not going to ask questions. It is what it is. But ever since you've told me, it's literally been implanted in my mind, right? So I remember you told me, 1, you love it when I wear a watch, right? And 2, if I'm wearing a watch and I'm parking the car in reverse, it just does something to you.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if it's a thing where you feel protected, or I'm put my arm on the chair, or you just feel like I'm in control and I know what I'm doing. I don't know what it is.
I can tell you what it is. I think that, and people will not like when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Even when we're talking about something like driving, I personally have noticed that men and women don't drive the same. That's just something that I've noticed. And that's why I said people are not going to like it when I say this. But there are particular movements that men tend to make in driving that can come across to me like he feels more confident, like he's more in control of the vehicle. And for women, people are not going to, like I said, people are not, but it's a personal experience. And I know that people are not going to like it, but it is a personal experience that men tend to come across more confident when they are driving. From my experience, when I've been in cars with women driving, they're a little bit more cautious, and seem to come across a little bit less confident. So there's something about that level of confidence watching a man drive a car that can be a thing. I'm not going to speak for other women. I'm just saying it can be a thing. And I know people are not going to like that I said that, but it's honest. I wanted to just say that.
They're not going to like you.
I just wanted to say it. That's all. It's something I've noticed. Now, different people have different experiences. It's just something that I've noticed. Yeah.
I didn't say it.
Okay.
I didn't say it. Whatever. I'm leaving that alone. Nope.
It's okay.
No, but
yeah. It's just, what? Just noticed.
You know what? Let's. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it 100. Whatever. I'll say it. 9 out of 10 times, when somebody has to take a bunch of attempts to parallel park their car or park their car or drive weird, the first thing I say is what?
Yeah, you think it's a woman, but that's not what I'm talking about.
I know.
I'm not saying that that's your confirmation bias. You thinking that women are worse drivers than men, that is your thing. That is your confirmation bias. That's not what I'm saying at all. I don't think men are better drivers than women. I'm saying that men tend to come across like they're more confident in how they handle the vehicle than women. It's just from my personal experience, is what I've noticed. Meaning women tend to be a little bit more cautious, but men tend to be a little bit more confident in what they're doing. Like they have a hold over the vehicle. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not saying it makes them better drivers.
I got you.
Because insurance for males is higher for a reason, right? That's not what I'm saying at all. Yes. Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
I think I got fixed perfect. Okay. So anyway, so like I said, it's just that, yes, catering to, not stroking his ego. The same way you want a man to stroke your ego and tell you you're beautiful, the same way you want a man to stroke your ego and say, babe, you look hot today, or damn, it's good, or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, men want that too. So
but there's a difference. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but stroking a man's ego really means lying to him. What women are really saying is they don't want to lie. Now, this is where men are not going to like hearing this. Damn. But if you want to hear good things more often, pay attention to what you are doing in that relationship. Because often once men are married or in a long-term relationship, or even a committed relationship that's not even that long-term, they tend to get complacent. Like they feel like, okay, I can relax now. I don't have to perform anymore. I don't have to do these things anymore. And so sometimes she can feel like she has nothing to say. Now, I don't agree with that because there's always stuff you can appreciate in someone. Hey, thanks for doing this. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you for reminding me this. So there's always going to be something. But for the most part, what women are talking about not wanting to stroke a man's ego is that she feels like she has to lie to him, and she doesn't want to lie to him just to make him feel good. Yeah. Or
make herself smaller, or dim her light so that he can shine.
That's really what women. That's really what women mean by it. Like what we're talking about here is you're saying that men desire words of affirmation. Yeah. But when women hear stroke his ego, what she's hearing is lie to him and make yourself lesser than.
That's what she's hearing. The thing is, I guess with the assumption that men have is, you're with me, so I'm assuming you're with me for a reason. I'm assuming there's something I'm doing special for you. So if you have to lie to me and tell me, hey, babe, you're a great man, or you make me feel good, or you make me feel protected, you make me feel safe, or, you know, all that, you make me feel special. And, there, you know, I wish there were more men like you for my friend, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not, I understand what you're saying. It's not that.
No, I'm not agreeing with it. There's always going to be something that things that your partner does on the daily basis that you can thank them for or show your appreciation for. Almost always. It could be putting gas in the car. It could be cooking a meal. It could be making coffee. It could be a rub on the shoulder. There's always going to be something that you can, you know, affirm your partner for on a daily basis. So I'm agreeing with you. I think that one of the main things that people tend to forget, you know, the more comfortable they become with their partners, they tend to forget that whatever we notice is what grows in our relationship. So if we notice the bad, the bad is going to grow in our relationship. If we notice the good is going to grow in our relationship. That's something that people tend to, as you know, their relationship gets longer and that they just tend to forget. Because when you first meet someone, it's not that they're not doing things that annoy you. You're noticing the good. That's really what's happening. You know, you're kind of putting like a fade over the bad. You
had a deficit in something that this person is providing.
Yeah, you're focusing on the good. And in relationships, people tend to stop focusing on the good, and they tend to. It's like in one of my classes, there was a whole lesson on that, where it's like partners become experts in their partner's flaws. Like they become experts in it. Like they could tell you all about it, you know, how it shows up, what it sounds like, but they have a harder time recognizing the things that make their relationship strong. So it takes conscious effort and willingness to recognize, okay, what makes our relationship strong is that we are strong in these areas. So that's what I mean by whatever you notice is what's going to grow in your relationship.
No, that's good. What you notice grows. If you notice negativity, you're going to notice more negativity. If you tend to notice more positivity, you're going to notice more positivity. And so, that's a bar, and people should write that down. So next thing, in terms of another thing that makes a man feel wanted and desired, there's something about a woman that either cooks for her man or either wants to, let's say you order out, you know, plates his food or brings his food to him. I know women are not going to like hearing that, right? But again, you want your man to open a door for you. You want your man to take his jacket off and put it over your head. There's things that you want him to do for you, right? There are. And it's like, imagine men saying, man, I ain't putting no umbrella over no woman. I ain't putting my jacket over no woman. She can walk just like I can. She can, I'm not going to hold no door for no woman. She has arms, but I'm not with her. How she open the door? Like, that's literally what we hear. Right? Because it's like this thing about the cooking thing. It's bad. I'm not going to cook. Okay, cool. But you understand that there are things that, again, modern women still want traditional men in their lives. Modern women still want men to do certain things. They want men to be leaders. They want men to make more money than them. They want men to be 6 feet tall or higher. They want men to do all these things, right? While opening doors and being kind and being a gentleman and surprising them with flowers and all this stuff. Oh, shoot, my bad. And all this stuff, right? You know, hey, yeah, can you, babe, can you make me a sandwich, please? I'm hungry. What? I ain't making no sandwich. It's like, okay. Babe, can you, or let's say he's watching a game downstairs or wherever you're upstairs or downstairs is, I don't know, right? Hey, babe, I don't want to miss it's in the fourth quarter, 5 minutes left. Do you mind heating up me a couple slices of pizza from yesterday? You have legs, go get it yourself. It's kind of like that whole catering to him. It's like there are expectations that women have of us to do for them, and it's perfectly normal. This goes down to, again, men don't feel like we can really ask for things, right? Okay? Catering to him. Like this simple act that is so beneath modern women, right? It's just the worst thing possible that you can ever do. But those same modern women, he needs to make more money than me. They have all these lists that must be followed. But the things men ask for, it's patriarchy, it's chauvinism, it's toxic masculinity, it's all this stuff. And it can feel tired. And so, yeah, doing things like that are special to a man. It's like, she's not here cooking for anybody else. She's not here making anybody else a sandwich. She's not here telling
as far as you know.
Hey, you know? It is what it is, right? She's not. And so, you know, and so because of this, it's like he already has this confidence, but man, it's like putting a turbo on it. It's like putting a supercharger on it by you doing simple things like, So again, the way that, can make a man feel wanted and desired and yearned for, it's like, again, there are different ways, how you dress for him when you're home, the things you say to him, be an active participant in the physical intimacy, whether it's sex or not sex, take interest in the things he likes. And I would hope that he reciprocates that, because if he doesn't, then that's a whole nother conversation. But these are things that, like, it makes us happy, and it makes us, and the thing is, and you doing things to make us happy, a good man is going to make him want to make you even happier. It's going to become a competition of who makes who happy. I guarantee it's going to happen. But you don't have to take my word for it. It's just, is what it is. Like, yeah, I'm not losing her. Nah, bro. They'll be talking to their homeboys, saying whatever, and they know what they have at home. You're like, nah, I don't have to deal with that crap. So it's just, it would be nice, if those things were acknowledged. So yeah, with that said, what do you think women hear when men say, hey, I want to be desired, or I want to feel burning, genuine desire, I want to feel wanted, by a woman, and why you just lay there? Like, what do you think women hear?
What I think women hear when they hear men say that they want to be desired is, okay, it's kind of like, okay, I hear you, you want to be desired, but what are you going to do to make me desire you? Because men tend to get very complacent in relationships. And they stop doing the things that do make her desire him. For example, like we're talking about the example of when you were saying men want women to show interest in the things that they like. And we're talking about the sports example. When he's watching the game and she's showing interest, if he's not annoyed by that, that can create some sort of emotional intimacy between the two of them, which could then lead to her desiring him. Or when we're talking about the example about men wanting peace, when he comes home and he wants peace, if he's able to allow her to emotionally vent about her day, even though he might feel like it's taken away from his peace, that might add to the emotional intimacy in that moment, which could then lead to that, desire that he's asking for. These things just play off of each other.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good
answer. Okay. So anyway, thank you for joining us this week. We like to hear from you guys. If you can, please like and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds to do. All right. Doesn't take that much time, and it helps us a lot. We're trying to bring some good conversations in terms of relationships from a married perspective, and not like a toxic, men ain't ish and women ain't ish, space. So, we appreciate you guys for supporting us. And we'd like to hear from you. Leave a comment, like, and join us next week. Bye.